Okay, looking at the high gear and the high gear bushes. If you remember during dismantling, I discovered that there should have been two plain bushes inside the high gear, but someone had put three in, and the problem with that is that the final one had started to work its way out and had got badly chewed up by the gears as it came out. So anyway, when I looked at it, I realised that it's a bit strange that there's a circlip in this end to stop the bushes coming out, but there's no circlip in this end. Now, I may be wrong, but I believe that this is now an 850 high gear or sleeve gear. I think the 750s didn't have any circlips at all. And then they had a problem with these bushes coming out, particularly at this end, I think, so they put a circlip in. But they didn't put a circlip in at this end. Then for the 850 Mark III, I believe they put a circlip in this end as well to stop the bushes coming out of either end. So I think that this is an 850 sleeve gear, but don't quote me on it. I think there are some 750s that have no circlips at either end. This one has one, and the 850 Mark IIIs definitely have one at either end too. And so normally, if you're going to replace this gear, then you replace it with one with an extra circlip. But I think we're okay. I don't think we need to do that. But if you are going to replace this, I think they're the only ones that are available now with a circlip at either end. Anyway, I was lucky. I found a socket. Oh yeah, I found it really difficult to get this circlip out. I tried sort of like getting it out, but I could have got it out, but I tried for about an hour and gave up. So then I was really lucky. I found this socket that was thin enough to miss the circlip, but thick enough to actually catch the edge of the bush. So I could drive the old bushes out, whilst leaving the circlip in place. So that was really lucky. And they came out really easy. They just came straight out the old bushes. So then I've got the new bushes, and they needed to be knocked in. But unlike these old bushes, they came straight out. These, again, of course, did not want to go in. What I did in the end, I heated the sleeve gear up very, very hot in the barbecue sort of oven. In my case, any oven will do. Get it really, really hot so it expands. I put the bushes in the freezer, get them really cold so that they contract. Then I got a couple of blocks of wood either side of the actual gear, and then I used this this big socket, and that just this end, the actual business end, and that just sort of has got a nice little chamfer on it, which just sat nicely around the edge of the bush, so I could drive the bush in, and then when it was like virtually fully home, then I could finish it off with this. So that's how I did it. You're probably better if you've got a press or a pull. You're probably better pulling or pressing them in, but they were fine. All I can say is the old ones slid out really easily, and the new ones didn't want to go in at all. But anyway, they're in. And what I've done is I put this one right down the end because it's not going to come out with the circlip in the way, and I put this one quite near the end but not too near the end to try and give as much like lateral support as possible. If this bush was too far down, then there wouldn't be as much lateral support on the main shaft. So and I think that's why they put three bushes in, to try and support the shaft all the way along. But I think with one bush like at this end and one bush at that end, then you've got good support for the shaft and to stop it any sort of lateral movement. Okay, and then that then fits on this is the main shaft, and we've got a lovely nice fit on that main shaft. I've I'm getting some oil. I've got some gearbox oil, and as I rebuild it, I'm just smearing everything with gearbox oil, but we'll come on to that later. So that's just got a little bit of gearbox oil on, and that feels really nice. Okay, so that's the high gear sorted. Anyway, but just wanted to mention before fitting it that I did consider changing this for, or we considered changing this for a high gear with a circlip at both ends, as is the 850 Mark III, to make sure that this bush here never came out again. But we decided against it because I think this one will be okay, and without the 3 bushes stuck inside, I don't think it will come out, especially because it's very tight going in. And B, a replacement sleeve gear, high gear, is £175 all in. So it doesn't really need replacing, so £175, we're going to reuse this one. Okay, just thought I'd mention that before fitting it. Okay, time to fit the sleeve gear, high gear, in the main bearing. So I've put this, as you can see it's all frosty, I've just had it in the freezer to shrink it a bit. I've wiped the oil off here at the mating surfaces and of the inner race of the main bearing, because I want these 2 surfaces to lock together and not spin. I want the bearing to turn, not the bearing to spin on this shaft. So I've raised up on wood. And then I'm just going to pop that in there. And there we go. And then I've got a suitably sized drift. And just, there you go. Knock it through until it's home. There. And there. We've got the sleeve gear now in the main bearing. Okay, jolly good. So we're starting to actually, that's the very first gear to go in there. So high gear on the main shaft. Okay, good.